Hey, what's going on, everybody out there? If you happen to be looking at the chart at the moment, we are dumping. Look at that big old candle right there, and that's the 10-minute. We got already about 3.5% from up there. So looking a little bit ugly, unless you're in a short, of course. But let's get into the video here. Today, welcome to Chart and Chill, where we're just gonna look at the charts, chill, talk about some stuff, and have a good time. Basically like a live stream, but not necessarily live, because we don't have that many subscribers yet. I don't want to do a live stream where I'm just talking to myself. Not that I'm not already talking to myself, but you know what I mean. And so coming back here, we got the quote of the day. It says, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." By Albert Camus, if I'm pronouncing that right. And we got our little pirate radio flag going on right there. You know, I like my pirate stuff for more reasons than I'm going to get into on here. But back to the chart. What are we down here on the 6-minute? Let's do the 5-minute. Let's check the 4-minute. And we're starting to round the bottom a little bit, but we are just coming into the red money flow. Granted, this is the 4-minute and it's changes frequently. RSIs stayed together and just ran for the bottom. VWAP getting close to coming back up though, so we may be pretty close to done with this leg at least. Let's take a look and see what the forecast may be if we are looking at more rain here in the near future. Whew. Over here on the 15-minute, oh my, VWAP it's low and it's still going. And we got at least a little bit more time down here below the zero. You know, money flow generally still kind of coming up. Now, obviously, Chicago Mercantile just opened back up right around the time when this started. So there's a potential that maybe we're closing a CME gap. I haven't checked yet. We'll find out together here in a second. But let's keep bumping up. Let's keep leveling up here. What do we got? About the same on the VWAP for the 20-minute. You know, momentum waves were kind of coming into a squeeze down here. I lost my handy dandy. There we go. You know, I had a little momentum wave squeeze right here. So we'll see if we which way we break out of this. You know, the money flow here, it's kind of up a little bit, but if this continues to come down, we could get lower than the previous one. So we'll have to play that one by ear. We still got some potential pain over here on the RSIs. As you'll notice, they started coming back together as we were coming down, and we've got a little bit more room to fall if it wants to. You know, 21 up here on the DBSI. So we'll see. Had our nice big blood diamond. I'd say that one played out to a T. You know, came from 22, so it's a little bit less at the moment, but that's not saying very much. Yeah, interestingly, I drew these guys out, man, right around here. I was like, you know, people were talking about going long, and I'm going to wait and see if it bounces off. And it kind of bounced off here. And then I started doing something else, came back, and we were just getting into the red a little bit up here. So I'm glad I decided to wait, because that would have been ugly. That would have been a bad trade. So we called that one kind of right. You know, because like even up here, like 24, 30-minute, like we were seeing bullish divergence between these. No, not those two. What the hell? I don't know. They're somewhere around there. We'll find it in a second. But there was some divergence somewhere, but it was very, you know, spread apart wherever the hell it was. I mean, looking at these guys, we've actually got bearish divergence as these are going up. These are kind of going down, but again, very spread apart. You know, typically you like to see it, you know, in two waves next to each other. Let's see here. You know, same VWAP, just still all the way at the bottom, hasn't even started coming back up yet. Go to the 30-minute. Shoot. And we're just now getting to this level of the previous one. Basically just straight down. Still got some plenty of room to do whatever before we get back up to the top side. You know, interestingly, RSIs are overall trending upward, which, you know, we are overall trending upward here. This guy might throw a wrench into that plan, though. We shall see. 40-minute. Oh, and this is Ethereum, by the way, if you didn't look yet. Yep, looks like we're breaking through there a little bit, but we didn't draw this on this time frame. It kind of doesn't really apply. Matter of fact, I'm just going to get rid of it. A little deceptive. What else do we got going here? Same thing. Man, VWAP is the same, like all the way through these middle time frames. 45. Yeah, we caught a little blood diamond back there too. Same exact thing. RSI is kind of coming together, pointing down. Momentum obviously down. Money flow just crossed back into the red. You can see by our little red candle right there. Heading downward on this one. You were supposed to draw. Yeah. Coming back down, looks like we're right about at the same point we were at here. So we'll see if we come down below this point in the money flow. I would start to expect, you know, maybe another dip down like we had here. I mean, really, it may play out like that, like just one big one with, you know, just a little dent in the middle, which you do tend to see. Matter of fact, right there. Granted, this one did cross into the red, but you could almost draw that out, which money flows have just been, they've just been ugly lately. They've been ugly. Let's go over to the 2-hour. RSI stuck like glue. Money flow looking hideous. Just getting lower and lower and lower. Getting lower like a Little John song. What is this line? I don't know what you are. You know, zoom out a little bit. We could see our adjusted Gann square. Whole lot of empty space below. Oh yeah, we still got this little support level from way back here that I never deleted. I guess we'll leave it there since we're actually heading that direction. Let me grab a drink of water here. 17 to 14. You know, we were hovering right around this little Gann fan angle right there. We actually have more that are hidden. Why the hell did it just do that? Seriously? It just jacked up my Gann square for no damn reason. Because this, what was it? This line right here used to be going through here. That's weird. Uh-oh, trading view. Starting Starting to spasm on me. I don't even know how we lined this thing up previously. Was it? No, it definitely wasn't like that. Shoot, I don't even know how to get to that point. All right, I guess we're just gonna figure it back out. So what if I set it here? It's not terrible. I almost like this one a little bit better. Got the 1-to-1 intersection right there on the low point right there. It's not terrible, you know. Resistance here, 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 here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. Oh yeah, look at that. Hey. Hey. Okay, I guess we got a new Gann square. But back to the analyses. Yeah, 2 hour, even just a little bit ago when we were up here in this the little uptrend right there, you know, it was getting a little flaky. Had this little double cross right there, you know, tight together to the downside. I was telling somebody like, yeah, it's definitely looking rough. Come to the 3 hour. Again, kind of got rejected right there. Didn't even make it into the positive numbers on the VWAP there. RSI is still coming together, still pointing down. Getting this wavy little leading momentum wave. You know, just with the choppiness in there. But as you can see with the dark blue one with the lagging, I mean, we're just fairly straight down. I mean, not straight, but you know what I mean. 4 hour. Mighty 4 hour. Still only at a 15 here. Got a decent spread, and it's still coming off of this general downswing from here. So it would be nice to see that we are possibly, I mean, it's almost the same spread here. So, you know, it weakened out. We started just kind of going sideways here rather than, you know, this whole straight waterfall to the downside. But, you know, if this continues to spread and maybe this RSI comes down and kind of bounces off the bottom, it would be nice to see it make a turn somewhere in here. Especially if, you know, this wave right here comes out higher than that one. Go to the 6 hour. Little RSI cross pointing down. Look at the VWAP just snaking around the 0 line. You know, no big strength moves. We are on the underside right now. We're in the underbelly. Yeah, you can see every time we have a dot, you know, we're crossing over that 0 line. It's just no big moves, you know, like how we had this nice big move to the downside, nice big on the upside. So I think we're reaching a little bit of an inflection point. Usually when things get really flaky, lower volume, lower strength, lower momentum, it's like it's building up pressure. And afterward, it tends to, you know, push off on a bigger move. You know, money flow. Let's see here. So this was our low point. Yeah, hopefully we don't. I don't imagine we come below this unless we just really start taking off downward. Looking at this from like a big picture here. You know, I mean, we've got all the way to this yellow line that we could potentially go without, you know, really breaking new ground over here. And we would still be playing along the trend line between these two bottoms. So that's kind of a, not necessarily worst case scenario, but a strong possibility. And keep in mind, if we start doing that, that's going to be a shorter time interval between these two bounces. If we fail to come back up, especially to here, off of whatever bottom we do hit, if we keep retesting this, there's a good chance it breaks. Let's see. Is this viable? No, kind of crosses through. Yeah, it's potential we get like a little flag going on right here. If so, again, came in from the upside, tends to break to the downside. Not always, but generally. It's kind of the standard definition, but again, nothing never has to follow the rules. God knows I don't. Yeah, I try. All right. It's 12-hour, just coming into the red on the money flow, although VWAP has been down for a while. Was coming back up, but we started getting this curvature going sideways, which is not a great sign. RSIs together, pointed down. Ugh. Definitely rather see those getting spread out. Definitely. Come on to the daily. How's the daily looking? Let me hide that guy right there. Oh, hey. A couple stragglers. All right. So that's what happens when you draw stuff on here and then you switch time frames and don't come back. Get all these random scribbles all over the chart. I've been finding them from like a year and a half ago. Anyways, generally speaking, the RSIs were coming up, but then we had this little dip back down. And it looks like we're taking another little dip. I would much rather see it not break this level right here, because then we could still say that we're headed to the upside. But if we do come back down, that would be a terrible, terrible little, uptrend right there. Obviously spread out, so every time it did come up, it just didn't have the juice. Just ran out of gas, no strength. Yeah, again, it's coming into a little squeeze all the way here on the daily. You could almost say this one too. I like it when these things tend to point, like intersect right at the zero line. It's not always. Oftentimes it's kind of close though, but it's probably just the OCD in me not saying it even necessarily means anything. But yeah, it's on the daily here. The VWAP is not terribly different from everywhere in here. So not super great. 18 on the DBS side, definitely bearish strength. Yeah. Hey. Try not to shout into the microphone, but see now over here on the 2-day, definitely increasing in the bearish strength. 16 -5, little red diamond. Not looking hot. Money flow looking horrible. Getting rid of these. Looking horrible. And we've been watching that, watching this come down for a while now. And we knew that, we knew it was likely going to come down for a little bit. Check the 3-day. You know, it's still down. You know, RSI's generally heading down, which isn't great. VWAP just crossed over to the downside. Definitely not good. You know, money flow going down. You know, we did have this, but, you know, we saw it here. So not any divergence, but we'll see. We're hoping that, you know, we don't. It's kind of, that's my macro hope at the moment. Let's go to the 5-day. You know, just getting into the red, really. RSI. Now here's a sign of hope right there. RSI is starting to split. So hopefully that continues. You know, we could round out and come back. That would be nice. Which would also, you know, coincide with us staying above here, potentially coming back up. You know, it doesn't have to break to the downside. I mean, as you can see here, you know, we broke to the upside. When you're getting out on time frames like this, and you're talking like bigger macro, longer term trends and movements, you know, the patterns don't always necessarily apply like that. Because, you know, you're talking about larger overall shifts in the market. Speaking of interesting stuff, look what we have here. There is some gigantic bearish divergence right there for you. Shoot, we were even seeing it back here. Now that's what I'm talking about, warning signs. So you see ETH, you see how we were just pumping up like crazy. What do we get here? Up about 44K. While we were hitting that top, we were getting lower highs down here, starting to curve over on the money flow. You know, these guys, you know, tracked along with that, but still continued this overall trend to the downside, or we began it really, but that goes back to, the hell video was that? I think it was the last Market Cipher video that I did where I was talking about, you know, these overall trends in the momentum waves. And you could see right there. All right, shoot, matter of fact. There, you can see it right there. There it is. So, you know, are we going to continue this out to the downside before making a turnaround? We shall see. You know, we really haven't had a big red money flow since, you know, end of 2018, early 2019. So that would definitely be a bummer. I mean, at that point, if we start getting into a larger red money flow, that's a bear market. Now let's do the weekly. Why not? Let's check it out here. Again, just money flow looking ugly. On the plus side, maybe. You know, VWAP coming up, potentially getting a green dot here on this candle. No, maybe not this candle. We got 12 minutes left on the weekly candle. I mean, it could happen, but the way everything's going down right now, I doubt it. So potentially on the next candle, we may see the VWAP breakthrough. You know, the last time had nothing at all. You know, came up to the upside, just straight horizontal. You know, had this little trend going with the VWAPs up there, just weakening. Yeah, got some spread here, so got that going. So, you know, at least we're not just straight plummeting. Even if it does seem like it on the smaller time frames. 15, 15, 15. Man, it's got a little bit of a downward pump strength to it. Although, you know, we did have a bounce right there, but we are coming back down. You know, when you start seeing the same number over and over again, it's just continuing. It's just 15, 15, 15. Until you start maybe seeing like a 12, 10, 8. Rolling a little bit here. This guy, instead of coming like straight up, just it's almost rolling sideways like we're going to take a bounce off the zero. Let's go Bitcoin. I imagine it's much the same. You know, getting a little bit better over here on the DBSI. Potential breakthrough right there coming. Just got into the red on the money flow, but this is only the 8-minute. Yeah, getting the changeover 6 to 2, 3 to 8. That's not the greatest. But we did get a little turn with the RSIs pointing to the upside a little bit now, and they are closer together than they were when we were coming down. I haven't had much of a spread since back here. So that's what's going on the charts. So we got the chart part of chart and chill taken care of. Let's do the chill part. I'm still going to keep I'm going to keep bouncing around on some of these other coins. If there's something you want to see in the future or on the next analysis video, tell me down in the comment section. Shout it out. I have no problem going to look at whatever it is you guys want to see. If you just want to see the chart, or if there's something you guys want to dig into a little bit, I mean, we'll sit here, we'll dig into it, you know, live time. I keep saying live. You know what I mean? We'll do it on the video, and we'll all figure it out together. Look at this. Not quite there yet, but damn close. Damn close. Let's see. Let's see Bitcoin. What's going on, Bitcoin? 4 hour. Don't mind all my crazy stuff on here. I'm going to turn that one off for a minute. So we came down. We were hovering around this spider line right here. Came up above for a minute. But then came back, got rejected almost exactly from that spider line. What was this? High 39,278. 39,264. So yeah, I mean, within a few dollars on that spider line. I don't know what this orange is. Oh, we drew that off in there. That makes more sense. Getting to the end of this Gann square over here. So we may have to draw another one pretty soon. Question is, Which direction should we draw? Oh man, this thing's still over here. That can go away. Yeah, you can see where we had, again with the momentum wave trends, you could see it right there. But we definitely got broke. broken right when that money flow started coming back down. What line is this? Well, I don't know where it is, so it's getting deleted. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Over here in the 1 hour. Ugh. Big old blood diamond. Look at that, right on the spider line. Yeah, probably gonna get a... Well, maybe. When we start with these on the 22, 23, they don't usually tend to last super long. If this were like 15, I'd be a little bit more worried. But it is a good chance that this comes below this one. So, all right. So today I was just gonna talk about some stuff here since we're doing our little pirate radio. I'm gonna parlay a little bit. And, with everything going on lately, like one of the biggest topics that I'm happy to see a lot of people getting into and starting to care more about is the privacy side of crypto. And it's not just crypto itself. I mean, even dealing with just regular everyday life things, especially anything that deals with computers or the internet or your phone or any of that stuff, you need to have a privacy kind of mindset. Because I know a lot of people, they use Google, they use Apple, Microsoft stuff, and those things in themselves are inherently anti-privacy almost. But there is a lot of things you can do to help mitigate that. And we already did the video about the privacy coins in regards to crypto. But, one of the things that is related to being in the crypto space, but is also just good on general principle, is VPNs. And so I was just looking around for just, an article or something that was like the best VPNs at, that are close to the current date. And there's this one, Pro Privacy. I've never heard of them. I don't know if they're any good or not. I imagine, they're probably getting paid to put these up here if I had to guess or something. But if you don't know what a VPN is, as a matter of fact, hold on, wait a minute. I'll read it right from them then, I guess. A VPN is an online service that uses encryption to provide you with privacy and freedom online. You can use a VPN to gain data privacy on PC. That's just friggin' advertisement. No one on the internet, such as the websites you visit or torrent peers, will be able to see who you are or who your ISP is because their view back to you is obstructed by the VPN server. And basically, so you have, all right, here we go. You have your computer and your ISP, whether it be like ATT, Spectrum, whatever, Verizon. So usually you connect through the internet through your ISP. And when you go on websites, they see your IP address and can tell who your provider is and all that stuff. But with a VPN, obviously you still are connecting through your ISP, but you're going from your computer through them, through, your router. and then it goes straight to the VPN server and then goes to the internet and whatever websites and all that stuff. So all the websites and trackers and all that stuff, they're seeing the IP from the VPN as opposed to your ISP and your computer. And it's essentially just, it just kind of redirects traffic, and it's like a mask that, you know, helps so that you're not constantly being tracked and being data mined. And it also has benefits of things like, actually, like what's going on right now. If you're in a country where there's different restrictions based on your country, like with the Russia situation, you know, it's real popular right now because everybody in Russia is like getting shut out by all these corporations that are just virtue signaling and saying, well, we're not going to allow, you know, Russian IPs to connect to our network. And there's other ones that say, you know, okay, they can still use the service within Russia, but they can't interact with anybody outside of Russia, and just, you know, a bunch of craziness. Like, they treat everybody like you're a child and like you're stupid, and, oh, you can't talk to anybody from Russia, you might believe them. Like, and yeah, I get, you know, people are kind of generally stupid anyways, but it's not helping matters. You know, the more you baby people, the more you get this nanny state garbage, the worse it becomes anyways. You just make people more dumbed down and dependent. But if you were, say, you are in Russia or Belarus and you wanted to get on Netflix, which I think I just heard Netflix was cutting service to people in Russia, and like Facebook and stuff like that. Although I think maybe the Russian government was the one who cut Facebook, but not a bad idea, really. That way you can go through the VPN and you can set it to whatever country you want. Let me see, has this got my name on it? No. So, okay. Example. You know, you go to locations and you can choose all these different locations from around the world, and to any website or, you know, service, whether it be Netflix or any of that stuff, all it knows is, you know, your data is coming from these places. So it shows up. Now, I will say one weird thing that you will run into is, say you're going on whatever websites, and if there are no cookies attached to your browser or anything like that, oftentimes it will be in a different language. And you know, you'll go on the website and everything will be in friggin' Spanish or something, and I'll be like, ah, crap. Like, okay, at least I have like this super basic rudimentary understanding of Spanish that, you know, at least I can find my way back to where the language is to change it back to English. But just a heads up on that one. But it does work. I can tell you, you know, flat out, it does work. And, you know, whether you're using it for just general protection, whether you're trying to get around some of these corporate sanctions, if you will, or, you know, if you're using it for, what's that one crypto called here? I'm going to try not to say it because I know YouTube's probably going to pick up on it. So looking over here at the BitTorrent coin or token, you know, you may want to use it for the actual thing that that token is about. Or you can also use it, say, you know, you go on Netflix and they have different movies, different videos based on, you know, what country you're in and things like that. Say you want to, I don't know, switch it to Canada or something, and just, you know, say there's you can't find anything you want to watch on the US one. You go swap it over to Canada, see if there's anything different. Stuff like that. Say you want to watch some Bollywood movies, switch it to India. Get some Korean movies in there. Man, yeah, now that I think about it, I've got some Korean movies. You know, they make some decent war movies. I'm not huge on the subtitles, but if it's a really good movie, I won't mind. It's just a pain in the butt because then you're diverting your attention from what's going on to read the subtitles. What's up with Gala? Gala's generally trending downward. Sand. See what Sandy's doing. 17 to 20 with the yellow X. Its second one, for that matter. But yeah, so these are basically... Okay, so here they're comparing speeds. Proton VPN. I think that's from the same company that does Proton Mail, if I remember correctly. I honestly haven't had a problem with the speed. You know, I've got Surfshark, and I'm not going to say that it's better or worse than any other one because it's really the only one I've used, but I've been happy with it. So I just haven't switched. I haven't tried any of the other ones. I know there's, you know, some of these like NordVPN and Express. I don't know if it's both of them, but one of them definitely had an issue where their users' data got hacked and, you know, put out there for the world. Some of these I haven't even heard of, like Vipper, whatever that is. Private internet access. Honestly, if your company name is that corny, I will never try it. Like, come up with an actual name. Don't just name your software private internet access. Like, that's supposed to be like the byline on your advertisement, not your freaking company name. Serious? Cyber Ghost, that ain't bad. As a matter of fact, I think I looked into them at one point. But look in here. 78. I know I've gotten higher than that. So this must, I don't know what their criteria was, but yeah, I know I definitely beat that by quite a bit, actually. You know, Express, Nord, Surfshark are among the biggest names. Wow, this is a long. I'll put a link to this, you know, if you want to learn more. Private VPN, given that number 5. Oh, there we go. Private internet access. Voted best VPN by Reddit. Yeah, because I give a shit what Reddit says. Yeah, no, thank you. There's a reason I left Reddit. You know, Nord and Express are the two, I guess, most known. You hear about them the most, and largely because they sponsor a lot of YouTubers and things like that. I'd look into it, though. I know one of them was having, well, not was having, but did have some issues with users' privacy, which, considering what service they're providing, was a pretty big hit, and they lost a lot of respect in the industry off of that one. Now, I'm sure they've fixed the problem since then. The only thing I'll say is, when it comes to VPNs, like what I just showed you with mine, how it had all those different servers to choose from in all those different countries. You want one that has, you know, a good number of options, even though you'll probably never use most of them. But, you know, from time to time, you do have to switch it up. So if you're, you know, using a US one, say you're using, I don't know, St. Louis, and it starts to get kind of slow, kind of sketchy, things like that. You know, you just, boom, go and switch to another one. So you switch to Canada and it's working great. And then a week or two from them, that one starts to kind of be screwing around. So, okay, you switch to Mexico. And that's generally, that's exactly what I do basically most of the time. And I leave it on all the time. It starts up with the computer. And, you know, trading view, even with all this stuff over here flickering, you know, I got 4 monitors. So I'll have, you know, an exchange open on one, trading view on the other, music playing on this one, YouTube videos playing over here. Like, all that stuff going at the same time works perfectly fine. It doesn't slow it down enough that I have trouble with it. So, you know, if it'll work for that. Now, granted, I've hardwired the the network on my computer. But even when I was using the wireless, it wasn't a problem. Let's see what's up with mana. Honestly, they're all looking the same. Let's do some longer term. 'Cause everything in the micro scale right at the moment is going to pretty much look the same. You know, going from 7 to 10 to 12, so mana's got some push to the downside. VWAP was coming up, kind of going sideways now. Let's see, Aave. That's interesting. Okay, so drew those guys out a while back. Clean up some of that. As you can see, we broke down below this point at least. Now, whether that means that that was valid to begin with, don't really know, but it got drawn all the way back here. But we did come back and retest it. So I'm going to leave it there for now, but it's kind of a bad sign if we did break out to the downside. Looks like it's close, but it's not a divergence. All right, avalanche. That's what we really wanted to get to. I'd say that one is largely meaningless. Let's see, should we pull from back here? I guess that's like the line in the sand, the oh shit mark, where if we do come down to here, looking for a bad break. But otherwise, obviously we're in a downtrend. Now this one, 16, 19, 18, 12, DBSI weakening a little bit, but RSIs are coming together. You know, VWAP starting to curve up a little bit. I mean, if what's going on right here continues, I'd say we'd be making the turn, but you know, just started a new candle. So it's got plenty of time for that 12 to potentially turn into a higher number. And keep in mind, you know, this is where the last candle was. And VWAP was still pretty much heading sideways, but downish. So this could, you know, go from up to, you know, it's going up right now, but it could easily just switch to down. Let's see, spasmatic. Yeah, put in a lower low right there. Money flow coming to the upside a tiny bit. Coming back together, not as far along as avalanche. Interesting though, we do have lower lows here, higher lows there. So we do have some bullish divergence on Matic, if that interests you at all. Didn't get much immediately off of it, but we'll see. Got the blood diamond over here on Harmony. Not too much happening there. You know, coming down off of all-time highs. Pretty much a double top. That's interesting. Chainlink. I haven't looked at Chainlink in forever. Whew, since back here. Oh, wait, I've looked at it since then. Yeah, about the same as everybody else. Like just barely a bullish divergence right here. So hopefully that comes out higher than that. And if so, Yeah, hopefully that bullish divergence plays out. Yeah, money flow looking a little ugly at the moment. It's starting to curl back on the VWAP, hopefully. Let's see Luna. What's going on with the moon? Dude, how many times do I gotta friggin' hit escape? And man, came right back to that little range. I don't even remember why this is here. I think that's from a smaller time frame. Yeah, money flow was coming up, ended up just going sideways. Got this drawn out little VWAP right here. Ooh, when you look at it like this, there's a lot of room. A lot of room. We had a nice little pump right there. Let's see what Adam's doing. Probably safe bet that this blue line got invalidated, but it's not to say that it isn't support. It's just not the bottom support. Look at that. Somehow I always end up buying like right at support and resistance levels, even though they weren't at the time. Smiley face. So this one's kind of interesting. Kind of got. I'm not saying that this is a pattern. I'm just kind of looking at some of the lines, like almost like some ley lines going through there. Now, if I were to throw like a fib channel on here. Do we take it to this one? Yeah, let's take it to that. We'll see. What do we got? Yeah, hitting up there. Definitely lately in this little trend here, we've been playing off of these fib retracement lines pretty well. So now if I were to take it up to that one and just call that going past the line, doesn't really play out. So yeah, got to take that low point. All right, I'm going to delete that because that one's going to take forever before you actually come up to another line here. See Dogecoin. Looking ugly. Looking ugly. You know, we're just kind of ranging right in here for a while, and then we duck below that range. Yeah, it's not pushing hard to the downside, but yeah, we kind of ranged in here for a minute. And kind of popped into here. Now we kind of found resistance off of the, this bottom here. And this isn't a precise line or anything. And we're down below. So it doesn't bode terribly well. Let's see, what's Shiba doing? Yeah, Shiba's riding the edge of that range right there. Kind of played below for a little bit, came back. Was getting supported. You can almost probably make it a little more accurate, putting it right there. We'll see what she does, but it looks like it's going to break below. Kind of working my way up to the blue chips. What's going on over here? it's just, it's just still, I was going to say it hasn't recouped from its last big pump, but I think we're finding like the equivalent of like a fair market value, if you will, probably in this range is probably like a realistic Cartesi value. And it looks like we're going to break to the downside of that one, which means it is likely going on sale for a while. Either that or it's going in the tank, which would be a bummer. Man, we are pushing these lows right here. Looks like that's actually the lowest of them. But we're getting into uncharted territory. It's going to be a negative price discovery here in a minute. What the hell's this big yellow line? Oh, up from all the way back there. Man, I gotta say though, this one was super fun to trade when things are pumping, because you can see these big old spikes. Oh man, it's so nice. Yeah, this coin was an absolute adventure to trade when things are pumping. It was one of those ones where like you get done and you feel like you just, those racing games when it's just like balls to the wall going, like your eyes don't even blink, and you're literally like being accurate to the inch as you're going around the track, and it's just super intensity. That's what it's like trading this guy when it's pumping. It's good times, good times. Let's see Phantom. Phantom definitely doing a little better. Rather similar to, the other stuff as far as how it's been playing out. But, yeah, same as everybody else at the moment. A little bit more downward angle. Strength increasing on the bearish side with our new candle. It's still pointed downward on the VWAP, but, curling back around. Definitely broke out of that guy. All right, V-chain. What's going on with our V-chain? Yeah, not looking hot. Man, it didn't really have that second pump like a lot of them did. That's disappointing. Yeah, kind of ranging in here for the moment. And some consolidation with a little bit bigger of a dip in the middle, but not doing too terrible at the moment. So that's nice. I was about to trade this one earlier, just on like a little scalp. I think what was it? It was in this guy, and everything else was looking like it was going to, reverse back around. This one was kind of 50-50, which ended up going sideways, so I guess I was right on the 50-50. But overall, yeah, it was coming down. And Solana. What's going on with Solana? Looking quite ugly. It's been a while. What's the ETH chart look like? Oh, even worse. So I guess it's not doing as terrible, but let's check the hourly here. Looks like the roof of a cave with all these stalactites. I think I got that right? Stalactites, that's the one that's on top. I think stalagmites are the one that are on the floor. But anyways, okay, so we talked about the VPN. You guys get the general gist of that. Again, I'll throw this the link to this article, or really just this page. It's a whole lot of stuff going on there. I'll throw that in the description. The next one is alternatives to Google, because if you don't know, all of these services, the reason they're free is because you are the product. So they are tracking and tracing everything you do with their product, and even on the device that their product is on, even when you're not using their particular product. And they are selling that data to a myriad of entities, whether it be companies looking for advertising data, whether it be the government, whether it be foreign governments, intelligence services. It can be, subpoenaed by courts and police departments. Not that police departments can do subpoenas, but yeah. So if, the biggest thing that I've had people ask me before, or they'll say is, well, I've nothing to hide. Like, what do I care? And it's like, yeah, well, you have nothing to hide now. But as we've seen in very recent times lately, is that just because you're not doing anything wrong doesn't mean that in the future or to somebody else you're not doing anything wrong. You might be just talking politics online, whether it be on Facebook or friggin' TikTok or Reddit, and you don't necessarily know if maybe in the future the side that you happen to agree with ends up becoming blacklisted or flagged or something, just like we've seen with like the January 6th stuff here in the US. They go back and they say, oh, well, you were on these subreddits or these forums, and that's a hub of radicalization, and God forbid you disagree with the government or disagree with the establishment narrative. And you could be 100% right, 100% good intention, never thought, planned, or did, anything aggressive or violent to any person ever. But, because you are bucking the narrative, all of a sudden you become the enemy. And we especially saw that with, the J6 stuff, with Trump, now with the whole Russia situation going on. Like, you don't even have to be supporting Russia or taking anybody's side in the issue, but simply trying to look at it dispassionately and understand what is going on, what the motives are on both sides. I mean, obviously, Ukraine's most basic motive is fairly obvious. You're defending against an invader, but trying to understand, like, well, why did Russia do this? Why did they do it now? Why are they doing it the way that they're doing it? Things like that seem totally reasonable, totally common sense. At least it used to be common sense. It's uncommon sense now. But, that'll get you banned off of platforms, to the point where we have seen cases where people that get banned off YouTube or Facebook, then there's this kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I hate to use it, but collusion between these companies, and you get kicked off of one, you end up going on a list and get booted off of all of them. But it's not just social media. We know plenty of people who got kicked off social media, but then all of a sudden they can't use PayPal. They can't use payment processors for their store. Their credit card company freezes their account or drops them. Just all kind of crazy stuff, like the banks, and all the way down to like Uber Eats and, catching an Uber car, like taxi or whatever. And you'll see all these companies, like, soon as you kind of get on that blacklist, if you will, not saying that one actually exists, but I'm about positive one exists, because I doubt they're going around individually talking about, hey, we banned this person, you guys should ban this person. Now, granted, we've also had congressional meetings where they flat out say, like, you need to ban these people, you need to censor this speech, which is crazy because it's illegal for the government to censor. I mean, it should be for anybody to, but at its easiest understanding, it should be for the government to do it. Yeah, except for the fact that they pass laws like during emergencies and war times that they can censor speech, because of the war effort and stuff, like back in World War II, where you couldn't say anything negative. And honestly, like, if you ask me, I'm pretty sure that they never got rid of those. And since we've been constantly in a state of emergency ever since the Civil War, they can essentially just kind of do what they want, even if they, don't act like it sometimes. Okay, that's the beauty of pre-recording this, is that I can always pause it. Had to go take the neighbor's dogs out for a minute. But looking to see how anything changed here. I'm going to come down to a lower time frame just to see how things are moving and shaking. Going sideways. Money flow still coming down. A little bit of divergence right here. But for the last topic I was going to talk about is this alternatives to Google. And now obviously with like Microsoft Office, it's the kind of the easiest and nicest to use, even though they seem like they just keep getting rid of little features or making it harder to get to them, or you got to go in the settings and turn them on and all that stuff. And I'm not a fan of how everything's cloud based, and then they start getting into web apps, and I really hope they don't get rid of the desktop versions, which I know they want to, and it's just aggravating. But looking at these, so there are a number of different categories. So when you're talking about search, my personal favorite, DuckDuckGo, use it pretty much every single day. But they've got some others here. Metager. I guess it's Metager for Germany. Swiss Cows is Switzerland one. Cirex. I haven't used too many of these. I think I tried QWant one time because I saw it somewhere, but that's France. Mojeek, the only true search engine rather than meta search engine that has its own crawler and index. I'll have to try that sometime. But yeah, again, especially in the US, DuckDuckGo is the big one. Now, I don't know if this gets into... I'm going to do browsers real quick. So, personally, I use Brave. Best browser that I've come across. It's super fast. It's good. It cuts all the ads out. It even cuts the commercials or the ads out of YouTube. So, if you're playing music on YouTube or watching YouTube videos, I've literally not gotten a single ad ever since using Brave browser, as long as you have the protections turned on. And it blocks the trackers. You can upgrade to HTTPS, blocks scripts, and you can kind of set how strong you want these blocks. And it's kind of cool, and it tells you the number of like trackers and things like that it's trying to use. And it's interesting if you go on like Google, or what's some of the other ones? I think maybe Amazon does. Some of the real big ones, they constantly keep trying. So like you'll start out and it'll be at like 30 something when you first open the page. And then like after a couple hours, you'll be up to like 80 or 100 or something, because it like consistently tries to keep opening up the tracker or whatever it's doing. So just interesting. But and just a heads up too, any web page you go to, whether it be like a news article or something, and they've got the little like Facebook icons, or they've got the what do they call it? I think it's like Google, not Pixel, but it's like a dot. But basically, like there'll be literally like a Google tracker on there that's like 1 pixel that is technically on the page, but you just don't see it. And it's, all that stuff is just constantly data mining you. But as far as email, you got Proton Mail is probably one of the most popular. They're starting to get into trying to get you to like pay for features and things like that beyond just the real basic one, which I imagine most of them do. But if I'm not mistaken, I think more used to be for free on Proton Mail. But Mail Fence, Tutanota, Countermail. See, now one that they don't list on here that I use that I very much like myself is Cryptext. And they've got their own like desktop app and works good. It's fairly simple, but it is, just very well done encrypted email. And it sounds decent. So, if you got like @Cryptext at the end of your email address, it ain't too shabby. But again, works really well. I like it. I use it for like personal use, but I've got my old email that I've had forever, and obviously, that always gets loaded up with spam and junk and everything else. So I use it for logins for stuff that are just meh, whatever. But particularly anything dealing with like crypto or anything like that, I use my Cryptext. And this is the site here. That's what it looks like. See, easy enough, pretty standard. It does have a little bit less features than, the bigger ones like Gmail and AOL and all those ones. But for what you want it for the encryption and everything, works great. Use the open source Signal protocol library. And, and getting into that, like messaging, Signal being the most popular. Now, the one thing I don't like about Signal is when, like, if somebody can, like, just be on, like, get into your phone, if they get beyond the initial, like, lock screen and you open up Signal, you can go through any of it. Like they added in a thing where you put in a PIN number, but you don't even have to put the PIN number in to open up the app. Like it's basically pointless because you'll just have a message at the bottom that says like, enter your PIN number just to confirm it's you, but you don't even have to. Like I probably haven't put it in 6 months. And so I don't know what the heck the point of that is. Now you can set it to like auto delete messages after a certain amount of time. You want to watch, there's 2 different ways to do it. One way will just basically hide or get rid of them from your app, and the other one will delete it from yours and, whoever else is on the other end, whether it be one person or a group or anything like that. So, look it up. But otherwise, it works really well. They added in the, like the little thumbnails and stuff for, the sites that are compatible with that. And it works pretty nice. But yeah, Cryptext is probably my favorite mail alternative. Okay, here we go. Here's browsers. So Tor browser, if you don't know, that's the OG. That one has been around the longest. That's what people generally use for like the dark web and things like that. If you start getting into that, just be careful. Be very, very careful. Don't just go randomly browsing around. And obviously it's a little bit tougher to do that because it doesn't really work quite the same way as the regular internet, where generally you have to know the address of the place you're going to. But they do have, lists of kind of like top sites and things like that. But don't be going places you shouldn't be going. Curious or not, just don't even do it. But it can be good for like chat groups and things like that. Brave, yep, obviously my favorite. Firefox is very popular. Yeah, they got, different mods and tweaks and add-ins and things like that. I don't know, it's a little too mainstream for me for thinking privacy. And there's stuff that Brave does that I've noticed Firefox doesn't do nearly as well, particularly with the ads and trackers and stuff. And another cool thing about Brave is they added in this thing where, if you let it pop up, just quick little, what do they call it? Like notification ads. You only get like 3 an hour or something like that. Or you can change however many it is, like 3 or 5 an hour is the tops. And they actually pay you basic attention token for allowing ads. And not only that, but they also have like built-in crypto wallets now. I think they even have their own swap. And, it works well with, MetaMask and all the other browser extension wallets. Like we got Harmony, Terra. Yeah, matter of fact, here. Yep, there's the Brave wallet. I don't have anything in it, but it's very good. I like it. It's easy to use. It's built off of Chromium. So here, just like this, ungoogled Chromium. Bromite for Android. Google authentication alternatives, you're probably not getting into too much, but should you need it. Google Drive alternatives. Nextcloud, NordLocker, part of NordVPN. There's actually a couple. I see they're not listing like some of the best ones on here, which is kind of stupid. Okay, here's CryptPad. And CryptPad is pretty decent. It's kind of like an office suite. And I do have an account with this one. I was actually very happy with it, really. I don't use it all the time, partially because I have Microsoft Office, but if there's stuff that you are trying to keep safe, you don't want anybody to be able to hack your account or hack a friggin' cloud storage on Microsoft, or you just don't, you should know Microsoft basically, tracks all your stuff anyway. So if you want some privacy, but you need, an office suite, it's got basically Word, Excel. I forget what this is. Code, which is kind of like Visual Studio, but obviously it's more like VS Code. It's just a quick, editor. I forget what form is. Whiteboard, which is kind of like I forget what the equivalent is, but you get the picture. Slides, which is PowerPoint, and then Drive, which is like Google Drive. But yeah, it works really well. It looks nice. It's clean. I liked it. There is also, here we go, Crypty. I got this guy down here. And it is good. It does photo storage, but it also does document storage. And it's like an easy to use OneNote, if you will. And obviously encrypted. And it is stored like on a cloud, but the whole thing's encrypted. You have to put in, you have like your regular password, but then you also have your almost like a private key password that you got to put in before you can actually like open your files and the documents within those files. And it is technically a web page, but the way you save it, you can save web pages as though they're kind of like an app, and you just get like this slimmed down. There's no tabs or like stuff up here and everything, and it basically opens like it's an app. And I like that one. It's good for just like a real quick notepad. You can throw tables in it. So what I ended up doing was I kept a file that's like a backup of passwords, because I'm like, all right, I need something for all the damn passwords. I don't just want to store it on my computer just willy-nilly out in the open like that. Sure as hell not going to put it on just a regular cloud like Google or anybody else. Like even those ones, I'm sure we've heard of some getting hacked. I'm sure it happens other times and nobody even knows about it. So I'm like, I want it on something encrypted, but at the same time, if it's only stored on my computer, it doesn't help me on my phone and stuff. So this way I've got Crypty on the computer, on the phone, on the other computer. And if I ever need to look up a password, I can go in there, just open it up, throw in the you know, the private key password and look it up, close it back up, good to go. LibreOffice, I've heard of that one. That one's, I think I tried it, and it's not the greatest looking, but it is an offline office suite. Apache, I know I tried that one. I don't really remember it anymore. Google Photos, you know, again, Crypty, you can use for like photos and files and stuff as well. YouTube alternatives, I'm sure people know about these. PeerTube, I've never really used. DTube, I think I've been on there a couple times. BitChute is obviously the biggest one, the most popular. Rumble is the up and coming most popular. I will say this though, I got a problem, you know, with Rumble. I got it on the phone and for whatever reason, it won't keep the screen on when I'm watching a video. So I'd use Rumble a whole lot more if they fix that friggin' bug, but I'm not going to sit there every 29 seconds tapping the damn screen. It's just ridiculous. Vimeo, it might as well be YouTube. Brighteon, there's not a lot of content, but the creator of Brighteon, Mike Adams, is a really good dude. Don't always 100% agree with him, but when it comes to health stuff, the Health Ranger, can't beat it. I mean, dude was pretty much who red pilled me on anything health related many years ago. Awesome guy. Daily Motion, you know, you hear about it. You never really mess with it too much. Ones that they didn't list, which are really good, again, would be like Minds or Odyssey. Matter of fact, I know I've got an Odyssey window open somewhere around here. It's not quite YouTube, but Band.video. If you're into that kind of thing, they've definitely been adding a lot more creators, and it's generally kind of one vein, one genre of content. But if you're into political stuff or cultural or basically news, current affairs, things like that, yeah, check it out. Google Translate, DeepL, I've heard is about the best alternative, I believe. Google Analytics. At that point, you know, if you're doing websites and stuff like that, dig into that one. Obviously, it's tough to get away from Google Analytics since it's the biggest. Oh yeah, so Google Maps, this OSM and or awesome and is really nice. It looks great. It's open source, and they've had a ton of people contributing to it over the years. There's one thing that's kind of awkward is when you go to search for locations. It's not quite as intuitive as Google Maps is, but it's really nice. It's free. And I love supporting a project like this that is not Google. So check it out. It's a good little app. I wonder. Yeah, you can even do offline. You know, you can bring in the various like contour maps, and I think you can also do topographic maps for all my my fellow hikers out there. You know, searching for points of interest. It's doable. It's just weird sometimes. Like when you're trying to be more specific, like it'll give you like intersections pretty well, but sometimes I've had it be a little odd with certain addresses. But yeah, works great. I love the different maps and layers and stuff. They did awesome with that. And Google Play Stores. Honestly, if you're looking for something that isn't on the Play Store, you're probably better off just looking for the app's website itself. You know, grab the APK file. But yeah, I mean, these ones are fine. Chrome OS. Linux, if you don't know about Linux, it's the whole other side of the world beyond, you know, Windows and Apple and now Android. It is a little bit tougher for your average end user, but if you are a computer person or a coding person, you shouldn't have too much trouble. Plus, there's a whole bunch of different, you know, versions now, different I guess you can almost call them like themes. I don't know anything about Tails or Cubes OS. There's also like the original Android, which is like the de-Googled Android, if you will. That's the open source part that, you know, all the regular Android like on your phone is built off of. Oh, here we go. And yeah, there's versions of that that people have taken and kind of made into something. Lineage is probably the most popular. Ubuntu Touch, which is Linux. Plasma Mobile, apparently Linux. Sailfish. Replicant, heard of it, not heard much about it. Librem, yeah, I've heard of that one. Google Hangouts. Honestly, I've never even used Google Hangouts. So, okay, so this is just a messaging app. Signal, Telegram. Element.io, haven't heard of it, but interesting. Google Domains, you know, other alternatives, Forms, Keep, Fonts, Voice. So yeah, I will leave this link in the description. Again, VPNs, the three big ones. And the VPNs are always having like, they seem like crazy sales. It'd be like 68% off, like 80% off, this and that. I mean, they're just affordable. So really, I mean, there's no reason not to do it. You grab just like a 2-year contract or plan or whatever, and dirt cheap. So absolutely worth doing. I don't know. I don't do too much with ad blockers because I got Brave. I don't need it. But that's that. So yeah, if you guys didn't see earlier, Polkadot was doing a nice big old run, jumping out ahead of everybody else. Yeah, so ADA just went sideways. Let's see what's going on in the moment. Kind of a little bounce back, a little run back up, although RSIs are tight over here on the 5-minute. Fairly tight here as well. See, we've been above zero for a minute. Potential reverse coming, not confirmed yet. Let's see. Total market cap. Tight to the upside. Tight to the upside. Back into the green a little bit. Overall down, but pointing up. We'll see. Coming down in the money flow on the 30-minute. Yeah. Starting to clip and turn about. VWAP coming across the zero. A little bit more room here in the hourly, but coming back together. So yeah, we'll see. It's kind of a 50-50 shot at the moment. You know, depending on which time frame you're looking at. Some of these lower time frames are actually looking decent. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Just counting up. But all right. This was our, call it a practice live stream. It was the Black Flag stream, talking about encryption and privacy, and you need to invite it into your life. Incorporate security into what you're doing. Because if it isn't hackers, it's giant corporations. If it's not giant corporations, it's governments. At the end of the day, you don't even need a reason why. Just do it. It's just simple security. You know, you put locks on your doors even though you don't expect people to break in. Just take them precautions. And that's all for this episode of Pirate Radio. See you scallywags back on the poop deck next time. Later.